My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was attending the UCLA football game. My biggest inspiration is my parents because they've supported me through my journey at school. I would like to thank my friends and family for supporting me achieve my academic goals.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when I meet new friends. And Christopher Columbus is who I draw my inspiration from. I would like to thank everyone, including my parents, my friends, and every staff on this school for supporting me achieve my grades and my achievements.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was winning Student of the Year. My biggest inspiration was my parents because they pushed me through school and pushed me to do my best. I would like to thank my teachers most of all for supporting me to achieve my academic goals.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was the field trips to UCLA because they showed me what it's like during college and they encouraged me to exceed in life. My biggest inspiration is my mom because she is a very humble person, but she is also very strong and independent woman. I would like to thank my 8th grade teachers, my mom, my dad, and my family for supporting me to achieve all that I've done throughout my life.
My memorable moment at Cato Middle School was like the advisory competition because it was a lot of fun just to hang out with other people and like the people you don't normally talk to. Like you just all communicate because you work as a team, and that's always like super fun. And my biggest inspiration is my mom because she is she's a very strong woman and she did so good in school, and I want to make her proud of me, and I thank her for all my success. I don't know what I would do without her. I would also like to thank my family because they were really strong, because when my grandpa died, it hit us pretty hard, and I didn't really know where I was at. But my mom, and especially my grandma, they were strong through it all, and they gave me the courage to be where I'm at now. And yeah, that's it.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when my robot shot his first high goal at my robotics competition. My biggest inspiration is my parents, is who I draw my inspiration from. I would like to thank my parents and teachers for supporting me to achieve who I am today.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was the UCLA trip. My biggest inspiration are my parents and my teachers because they have achieved so much and they never gave up, and they have a motivation that I only hope I could achieve. I would like to thank my mom and all of my teachers because they pushed me to achieve what I did all this quarter, all this year.
My most memorable moment here at Cato Middle School was when I got accepted into honor orchestra because I did a lot better than I anticipated and I worked so hard for it. And my biggest inspiration is not more of a who, but more of a what. I've had a negative influence in my life that they've tried to discourage me to fulfill my full potential. So I worked because of that. I used all that negativity to keep working hard in what I do. And I would like to thank all the teachers and staff here at Cato Middle School for all their hard work and support. And most importantly, I would like to thank my mom because without her, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I would also like to thank my dad because even though he's not my biological dad, he's always been there for me and he's always treated me like a daughter. So I would just like to thank I'd like to thank my parents, and thank you.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was probably going on the UCLA field trip because it really helped me connect with my peers, and it was honestly one of the funnest times I've ever had during my 8th grade year. My biggest inspiration is probably my parents for always really motivating me and always really pushing me to always do better, and I probably wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I would really like to thank all my teachers, but especially Ms. Zalatel for really helping me with my speaking, and she really motivated me and always believed in me when I really didn't believe in myself, and I probably wouldn't have done as many of the things that I have this year without her. Thank you.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was being nominated for the Juliet Thorner Award and winning the Advisory Olympics to go to UCLA. My biggest inspiration is forward and captain U.S. Women's National Team, Abby Wambach. She's my greatest inspiration because the passion she has for soccer, also the drive she has to never quit even when the circumstances are rough, and the dedication she has to change women's soccer everywhere. With all of this, she has inspired me to become a better young woman and athlete. I would like to thank God, my Lord and Savior, first off, and then I'd like to thank my family for always reminding me I could do all things through Christ, who gives me strength, and for always pushing me to go the extra mile. I would also like to thank my advisory teacher, Ms. Zalatel, for always believing in me and pushing me to become a better student. And to my cousin Eileen for always helping me become a better soccer player. And a last special thanks to my little sister Gracie for always supporting me in everything I do.
My most memorable moment at Cato was the time I was nominated for Student of the Year and the time I was in the school play. My biggest inspiration would have to be my family and God for always supporting me and for always encouraging me to believe in myself along with following my dreams. I would like to thank my mom for always inspiring me and keeping me focused. Love you. I also would like to thank our staff for helping me achieve my goals and supporting me. Last but definitely not least, I would like to thank all my friends for motivating me to work hard this year. I will most definitely miss you all, appreciate you, and love you. Thanks.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was winning the advisory competition and getting to go see a women's basketball game at UCLA. And it really showed me how much I'm looking forward to going to college and that whole experience. I would like to thank all of my family for always staying with me and always being supportive through all of my decisions to further my education and on this path to wherever I end up. And my biggest inspiration is Ellen DeGeneres because she stands for what she always stands up for herself despite what's in the media and what other people say. And she always ends every one of her shows by saying by telling her audience to be kind to one another. And this is very important to me because through all of the decisions I make in life, I think it's pivotal to have kindness and hope in your heart.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was probably going to Washington, D.C. and getting top 10 in the nation with all my friends. And another memorable moment was going to the UCLA football game for getting a 4.0 the first semester. I'd like to thank Mr. Manriquez for always being there to support me in everything I do and telling me I could do it when I thought I couldn't. And I'd also like to thank my family for always supporting me through my academic activities and my sports. My biggest inspiration would probably be my mom because she always told me to be a leader and not a follower, and I think that aspect is very important coming into middle school because you don't really know what crowd to go to. So I think I'm here today because of my mom.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was the Advisory Olympics because it was really fun. It was just a fun time to have with friends and get out of class and have fun. I would like to thank my parents for supporting me to achieve everything I've done in sports and academics. They go through a lot, and I want to thank them My biggest inspiration, once again, is my parents, because they did it the hard way. They never stopped working, never really took days off, and they were really hardworking, and I think they taught me to be hardworking too. That's it.
My most memorable moment at Cato would be watching Mr. Havens dump a bucket of water over his head last year to inspire all the students to raise money for the ALS challenge, and this showed me that even adults are willing to make a fool of themselves for a good cause. My greatest inspiration would have to be Walt Disney, because he taught people to do what you love and not to let obstacles get in your way. And I would like to thank my family and my teachers, because they inspired me to never give up, and they made sure that I got the most out of these 2 years at Cato.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was the Washington, D.C. trip. It was so nice and so much fun. It was just fun. My biggest inspiration is my teachers, because they help me through everything when I need help. I would like to thank my parents and my cousin Kendra for always supporting me to achieve my goals and anything that I need help with. My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was going to Washington, D.C. It was an amazing time. My biggest inspiration was my parents. They've always been there for me when I needed them, and my cousin Ariana. She's always pushed me to my limits and stuff and always helped me where I am today. I would like to thank my cousin Ariana for always being there.
My most memorable moment here at Cato Middle School has to be the trip to Disneyland we took, because it was so much fun and I learned so much. My biggest inspiration has to be my brother, because he's helped me so much along the way, and Mr. Hernandez as well. I would like to thank my parents for supporting me to having excellence here at the school and for everything else.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School is probably the first week of school. Getting to know people and their personalities was really exciting. My biggest inspiration is a man named Elon Musk. He was focused on pushing the world forward and solving large-scale problems. One of his companies was made to advance technology in electronic automobiles. I'd like to thank my parents, my friends, and my teachers for motivating, encouraging, and helping me to achieve my awards and everything else I earned.
My most memorable moment here at Cato would have to be the UCLA field trip. I enjoyed the time, and I actually do want to go to UCLA, so being able to have a look around and see how it is was really cool. My greatest inspirations would have to be my dad and my sister. They motivate and encourage me to reach my highest potentials. They constantly remind me of who I want to be in life. I would like to thank my family and my teachers throughout these past 2 years. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to reach this level of accomplishments.
My most memorable moment here at Cato would have to be the Washington, D.C. trip. I had so much fun, and I would definitely go again. My biggest inspirations would have to be my parents. They are very hardworking, and they never give up even when they are at their lowest points. I would like to thank all my teachers throughout both of my years here at Cato Middle School. They are all so supportive, and I love being in their classes.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was probably the Washington, D.C. trip. I had a great time, and it was really fun and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. My biggest inspiration would probably be my parents. They pushed me so hard to achieve my goals, and that's what I did this year. I would like to thank my friends Ariana, Kendra, Cameron, and Alyssa for helping me achieve my goals. And I also like to thank my parents and my teacher, Ms. Zalatel.
My most memorable moment here at Cato would probably be just coming to my advisory every day. Our class is very interesting. I would like to thank my mom and dad for always being there for me, supporting me, pretty much throwing out any club that is possible to me. My grandma for making sure I was on the right track, even though she didn't have to. And my kindergarten teacher, Miss Merrick, that provided my education from the beginning, made me want to keep learning.
My most memorable moment at Cato was probably going to the UCLA game at the Rose Bowl. We just had a lot of time with my friends and it was just a great experience. My biggest inspiration, it would have to be my parents and my friends. With my friends, we just all have like a friendly competition going on, and since we're so competitive, it all just kind of motivates us to keep going and try harder. And then I would just like to thank my parents for supporting me and always going to everything I do and supporting all that I'm in. And then Mr. Hernandez for really helping me with my music and getting me farther than I have ever been.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School would have to be my first day of 7th grade because it was just so filled with excitement and optimism. It was a new school and new teachers and new kids. It was just so exciting. My biggest inspiration is my father because he always motivates me to try my best and succeed in everything that I do. I would like to thank my friends and family and especially my mother for supporting me to achieve all my academic goals.
My most favorite moment at Cato Middle School was meeting my friends. I would like to thank my friends and family for supporting me to achieve my grades and everything I do in life.
My most memorable moment at Cato was the UCLA trip that we took with our advisory because it allowed our advisory to become a lot closer like a family. And my biggest inspiration is my sister because she always pushes me to reach my greatest potential just like my parents. And I would like to thank my family and all of my teachers for always supporting me.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when I found out that I got the silver gown because that was when I knew that I made it. My biggest inspiration is my brother because I know that we both started out exactly the same and he's a picture of success to me. I'd like to thank all my teachers throughout the years for supporting me even when I stopped caring. I knew that they still cared and not trying would be letting them down.
My most memorable moment at Cato was when my robotics team won current league champion in our first year here, and my greatest inspiration is the author J.K. Rowling. This is because her novels have really unique themes and complex storytelling that really changes my views on the world. And I'd like to thank my mom and dad for supporting me when I felt I couldn't do better, and my brother for his bright ideas and motivation.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when we had rallies because the teachers got so involved with all the activities that we did. My biggest inspiration is all my teachers in the past. They are who I draw my inspiration from. I would like to thank my mom and dad and my godparents, Misty Chavez and Samuel Ramirez, for supporting me to achieve everything that I have done today.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was the UCLA football field trip and the Disneyland trip that we took as a music group. My biggest inspiration is my older siblings because they're the first in my family to actually go to college and graduate, and they always push me to do my best and be successful. I'd like to thank my family and my teachers for supporting me to achieve the school as I graduate.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was just being around my friends and having a good time. My biggest inspiration is my brother because he motivates me every day to do a better job. I would like to thank my family and friends for inspiring me to reach my goals and supporting me to achieve my goals and achievements.
Out of all of my memories at Cato Middle School, the most memorable moment for me would have to be when I hit a home run for the school softball team at our last game. My mother is my greatest inspiration. She is a single mom with 6 kids, and on top of that, she is a college student. When I think of a strong woman, I think of her. My whole life, she has supported me in everything I do, including sports and academics. She has made me want to become a better person, and she has also taught me to never give up on my dreams, and I'd like to thank her for that. I would like to thank all my teachers that I've had while attending Cato Middle School for pushing me to achieve more and become a better student. I would also like to thank my parents and family for always encouraging me with academics and helping make sure that happens.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when we went to Disneyland with all of our music students, and my biggest inspiration are usually my parents and my music teacher, Mr. Hernandez, who would always do funny jokes. And I would like to thank my family, my parents, my brothers, and all my teachers for supporting me in everything and trying to help me with my goals.
My most memorable moment at Cato Middle School was when Mr. Hernandez planned his April Fool's Day joke on us, where Mr. Havens pretended to fire him. Yeah, and then my biggest inspiration is definitely my sister, because she's the first one, she's my older sister, and she's like the first one out of my family to go to college. And she is very successful and she's won lots of awards, so she's a big inspiration and she has big shoes for me to fill. And the people I would like to thank for supporting me are my teachers, my friends and families, because they have always been there. My mom and dad would stay up late with me to finish my homework and explain stuff to me, and my friends would give me pep talks that would help motivate me. And my teachers, they were just really supportive.
My most memorable moment at Cato was really right now when I got my silver gown, because I know that my hard work paid off and that I just did very well in school and I made my family and my friends proud. My biggest inspiration is God, because without God I'd be nothing. And I would like to thank my awesome parents and my awesome friends who supported me throughout everything, and I would just like to thank them for everything.
Welcome to Cato Middle School's graduation. It will start in